Hi guys, Dirk here. Thanks so much for tuning in. This here is the Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E. And the first thing that's important when it comes to using any gimbal is to balance your camera. So I'll show you real quick how to do that. In the box we do have this mounting plate for our camera, and that's the first thing we need to affix. And we have this tool supplemented so we can easily attach it to our camera. Once done, we want to slide it onto our gimbal. In order to do that, we need to unlock 2 of the 3 axes. There are levers here in the back, and in order to find the balance we have to unlock this slide, push it backward and forward until we find the perfect balance, and then lock it in place. What's important right now is that here we find a balance that wherever we stop it, it stays in place. If you're planning to use the camera with a lens hood attached, you should definitely balance your camera including the lens hood, otherwise when you're taking it off later on, the weight of the camera is now differently distributed and it will tilt upwards. When using a gimbal, it's always a preference to shoot with a prime lens. If you're using a zoom lens and you're zooming in or out, the weight of the lens may differ, and then it would require a rebalancing. The next thing is the balance towards the side. We have the same objective here. Wherever we stop it, we want it to stay in place with no wiggling. We have to unlock this, slide it here on this rail until we find the perfect balance, and then lock it in place. It's no rocket science, it just takes a little practice, and maybe when you're doing it for the first time you will need a little longer. Don't be frustrated, it'll get easier over time. When you're holding the gimbal like this and your camera doesn't stay in place and it is flapping around, well, that means here on this side you have to make some adjustments. To do this we have to unlock this here and then slide the camera slowly up and down, and always try out and see where we find the perfect balance. And finally, our final test is to hold the gimbal like this and see if it stays in place or if it tilts backward and forward. And if so, then again, the weight distribution is not optimal balanced and we have to change it. That means we would have to unlock this lever here and then slide it back and forth, and again try micro steps in order to find the perfect balance. Always in between. Test it. If it falls forward, you have to slide the entire thing a little bit back. If it slides backward, well, the opposite. So once you have the perfect balance, now you're good to go and you can start up your gimbal.